And we press record, and this is working, and we can start talking. So, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is a channel where I'm going to be teaching C++ and Python programming, mainly focusing on computer vision and machine learning. These are very important languages to know and very two important fields to learn about. I'll be programming mainly in C++, here because that Python is already available. And I think C++ is more tricky because it's more complex and you need to pay more attention to a lot of things. One more thing is because I'm going to be using OpenCV library for most of the computer vision work I'm going to do on C++. And let's get into it. So I'm going to be working directly on some basic stuff, as I'm assuming that maybe this is your first time even knowing about computers as a whole. So what we will do is start with the first basic things, which is we include the libraries we need to use. So in this case, I'm going to use input-output stream. This is a library we can use to communicate with the computer, let's say. So we can input data and the computer does some calculation. If we ask, like if we give him, for example, 5 plus 5, and we want him to, calculate how much the output it would be, like how much the result would be, then it will output for us 10. So it's called IO, which is input, it stands for input output stream. And, I just put double T. And then we go directly into the main part of our code, which we do int main like this, and then this is where we will write the body of our code. And in this one, I'm gonna do std cout, and we will write, for example, hello world, and then for that we will come back to the line. So in line. And this should be working. I'll tell you why I didn't write directly in line without doing std. So if you press this, it should work. Everything should be fine. It should compile and shows us hello world, as you can all see here. Now, another thing, which is, since you can see I'm like writing always here std and std, there is a way to get rid of that. We can use say using namespace std, and then here you can delete this from now on. You don't need it, and it will compile again. Yes, perfect. Now for me, another thing. So for example, we have this code here, and as you can see, the computer reads it, but I don't really want to use it anymore. But I don't want to delete it because maybe I go back for it. So what we can do is we can comment it out. So we just press twice like this, and now it turns to green. This is just for us to understand color coded. So basically we go back to the main part again. So we have here, after we comment it out, we want to take off. Like here we write it because I prefer to write with the std, right? Okay, so next point. Let's see that we can communicate with a user, right? We can say here enter number, and then we do std saying, this is to get the input, and we can put it in num1, and okay, and then we can do std cout, and we write enter second number, and we can put here first. Okay, this should be fine, and we can do like this, and like this again and again, and we do std end line. and this should be fine. And then we should read this and put it to our num2. Now, as you can see, there's like a red line under num1 and num2, right? This means that these two are not really identified. So num1 and num2, for me and you as humans, we know we want to allocate a number, an integer in there, but the computer needs to know that we're actually going to allocate an integer. Now, what we can do is we can come here, and again, once it is green, it means it's commented out. So the computer doesn't even read it. This is just me, like for me, and like if I might give my code to another people to read, I'm gonna put global variables. Now these global variables are the variables we're gonna use, and in our case we used num1 and num2, right? And these two, I'm gonna make them integers. Now, I will explain later on what data types we have, but let's go with the following. So now we want to calculate is it a plus, is it a minus, is it, I don't know. So we will do a sum. So we will do std say out, and we will do the sum is, and we will put the number, which is going to be num1 plus num2, and we end the line again, and this should be fine. Yeah, so we received the number. So let's see. Here they ask us to put the first number, so I'm gonna give it 54. They tell me second number, I'm gonna say 36, and then they tell me the sum is 94. Actually, I'm very surprised that I actually put 90. Anyway, yeah, so we can see that we have these two things. Now let's talk about data variables, like the data types. So I basically actually did prepare this. I'm gonna go here and get this. I'm gonna explain it with these. So in the global variables, let's go with like this and explain it one by one. So we have, first thing is we have a short integer. Now in C++, it does really care a lot about like memory allocation. And we have, for every data type, we allocate a certain amount of bytes in the memory. So for example, for a short integer, we do allocate 2 bytes. And we do allocate 2 bytes, and this gives us we can have numbers between from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Now these are like numbers for most of the user case, we're not really going to care about them, but in some cases we will actually do really care about them, because we don't want to give a very big memory for something that requires a short memory, like a small amount of memory, and we don't want to give a small memory for something that is big. Now in the case of we give big memories for something that is small, the computer will, like the program will work, but in case we give a small memory for a big number, we will have errors, and most probably the software that will not work, and we will lose the data itself. Or maybe it works and it wouldn't give the data. It's like it will lose half of the data. So we need to pay attention to that. So in our case, we have short integers. As I said, these are like from the minus to the plus. Then you have the unsigned. Now, when we say unsigned, it means it's just positive. We just take the positive side. So again, it's also 2 bytes and starts from the from the 0 to the 65 to 565,535. Now it's double the other number, like the short int, and just because they both have the same amount of like memory allocation, which is 2 bytes, so we have this amount of number. Now we go to another one, which is integers. Now, in our case, integers, here we have an unassigned integer. Again, whenever we say unassigned, we just take the positive part, and whenever it's like we take the unassigned, we usually like the maximum amount we have, it's divided by 2, and we have it from the minus to the plus. So we have 4 bytes of memory allocated, and it starts from 0 to 4,294,900 no, like this is like billion, and then million, then 967,295 normal. Sorry, like sometimes I'm making mistakes. The numbers are gonna be very, very big very soon, so I'm actually gonna stop saying them because I'm actually writing them here, so you can always check them. You don't really need to memorize them because these are things that are available online. You can always check them yourself. It's very easy. You just type like C++ data types and data variables and data size and whatever. It's like these are available things. I'm just talking about the memory allocations, so we just pay attention to that. Integers, as I said before, you always have the middle of this number, like the maximum you have, and divided by 2. And then we have long integers, and long integers, then you have unassigned ones, which are again same thing. They're double. Yet whenever we go from one position to the other, right, like from short int to long int, we can see that the memory is actually like growing. The only reason why yeah, it should be here. Yeah, we are growing in the memory, like we just increasing, multiplying by 2. So yeah, so this is a part. Then we have this long int. So I'm gonna stop talking about these because they are very obvious at this point. What I'm talking about, like it's like 8 memories. Now I'm gonna talk about char. Char is stands for like characters. So we have, I don't know, in English we have like 26 or 24 characters to make a sentence. So we allocate 1 byte of memory for the characters. So we have signed and unsigned characters again. Same stands for everything. Then you have floats. Now floats is whenever we want to use decimal numbers, and this uses 4 bytes of memory. Then you have double. Double is actually double the size of the float. And then you have a long double, which is 12 memories of byte. This is like a very, very huge number, which most of the time you're not really going to get there, but sometimes programs do really grow and become really, really big very, very fast. Now, one last thing I'm going to show before ending this video is that we have something which we call a string. Now, a string, in that case, we will have to include this library, which is string. And with that, we can go here and say, for example, string, and we give it, I don't know, text. Text. Oh, come on, text. And for this text, for example, this should work. What's wrong? Yes, because okay, I'm gonna take them off now, but I'm actually not gonna really take them off. I'm just gonna comment all of them so they don't appear. And the reason why is because I just want string is undefined. Include string. This should be fine. What's happening? Okay, I got it. Yeah, sorry, I just like made a very silly mistake. So yeah, so now our text is a string, and we can allocate like a whole paragraph or a sentence or whatever we want to write in it. So instead of this, I'm gonna say text1, and we will have text2, and we will have text3. Now you might say what we will put in these 3. We will do this. I'm gonna go back to each one of them later on. And equal, just make sure that this is like this. And we're gonna put exactly this in each one of them. And this like this. And this. Now it should all work. And we put text 1 and text 2 here. We should find this, and then we do like that. And okay, maybe we should do it like more like this to make it easier. Yeah, sometimes computers are actually stupid, so you just need to know how to communicate with them. And we should run a core program now, and it should work. Again, see, enter first number, blah blah blah, da da da, and it answers us. So yeah, so let's end it here for the first video, explaining the variables and strings and very simple basic stuff. Next time we will talk about pointers and references, because these are very, very important things in C++. And once we're done with that, I'm gonna start directly talking about OpenCV. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.